Hi everyone. I look, y'all. I had a crash out on last stream. If you guys were there for that, I crashed out completely. I was pissed off. Like, the Pelicans game was absolutely atrocious, but then Billy Donovan was, benching Montes Buzelis to start the third quarter, which was absolutely just stupid. And I said that if the Bulls lose this game against the Hornets, that I think that Project Blow It Up needs to be implemented here. Look, y'all, I understand we're 9-9 right now. I understand we're still 500, but I think we have to just have a reality check here that the Bulls have won 4 games since their 5-0 start. Okay, in November they've won 4 games. Now, to give them some credit, they beat an insane, Denver team who we all think are, very solid contenders this season. But there's a lot of terrible L's, man. There's just a lot of bad L's on this November sheet here for the Bulls. And I am officially just at this point where I think that we need to have some of these serious discussions where no one's safe on this roster right now besides maybe Buzelis and Asenge. And I think that the Bulls need to actually start considering some very difficult conversations with themselves about this backcourt that they seem to be heavily invested into for some reason. Look, man, I'm not here to just be like this constant hater on Giddey, but like, I understand that he had a pretty overall good game today if you look at it, but I'm sorry, man. Defensively, this team is just flat out garbage, and like him, like Kobe, like everybody for the most part, like they're all part of the problem. And Giddey's defense has just been absolutely atrocious recently. I'm sorry. Kobe's defense was nothing good today either. He was getting beat, especially in the third quarter. It's just yet again, this team just does not want to play any sort of defense, and the only guy that has any sort of defensive potential is Montes Buzelis as being part of the core right now. I know that Asenge isn't here right now, so I'm not really, I'm not here to say that he's going to be part of it right now, because a lot of Bulls fans already hate his guts. But, if the core is for you guys that it's genuinely going to be Josh Giddey, Kobe White, and Montes Buzelis, well, all I'm going to say is just that there's a lot of other young cores right now that we're currently facing, and I honestly don't understand why I shouldn't pick the other guys right now. Like, why shouldn't I pick the Charlotte Hornets core right now over the Bulls core for the future, okay? Again, Vucevic is not part of this core, right? Vucevic is not part of this core, all right? Don't tell me that Vucevic is part of this core. I'm talking about the young core for this roster right now. It is Josh Giddey, Kobe White, and Montes Buzelis. Why should I pick them over the Charlotte Hornets? Why should I pick them over the New Orleans Pelicans? Like, why should I pick them over the Washington Wizards? It honestly, I'm starting to really look at this and be like, we need to have some conversations, because this is ridiculous what we're seeing right now. These are unacceptable losses, and it's because, yet again, the Bulls are not playing defense. They gave up 67 points in the first half. They gave up 123 points in the game. That is the 11th straight game the Chicago Bulls have given up 120 points. That is an amazing record. Only 11 teams have ever done, or there's only been 11 stretches of such a streak here in NBA history, okay? And they were talking about in the broadcast that, like, the last time this has ever happened has been a long time ago. So I want to just point this out right now, that this team has no ability right now, or seems to have no drive at all to be even playing any bit of defense, especially when it comes to this core that we're supposed to be heavily invested into. And I think we need to have these conversations now, because, if this just keeps going on, and then, we're going to be starting to have these conversations, then it might already be too late. We need to have start these conversations right now, because this is unacceptable for what we're seeing, especially because that people have been claiming that both Giddey and Kobe are supposed to become all-stars. Then this is not good enough. I don't care about the points tonight from these guys. I honestly don't give a shit that Giddey was close to a triple-double tonight, okay? But what I do care about is that defensively, I got to see some better effort. And I'm not seeing it right now from anybody on this roster. Besides maybe Trey Jones, who I think was the Bulls' best player today. But if Trey Jones is your best player tonight, that's an issue. Especially after you just paid a guy $100 million this offseason. And, you know, supposed to be a main part of this roster, potentially even the engine for this team when we start to become a little bit more, you know, structured and better overall. But right now, it is absolutely just terrible times when it comes to this core, and I think that we need to actually start having these discussions immediately, because I think that it would just be absolute injustice to just be like, oh, you know what? We were tired today. Oh, you know what? We're missing guys today. Oh, you know what? They'll figure it out. Okay? The excuses are done. I don't want to hear any more. Okay? I don't want to hear any more excuses. I don't want to hear any more of, oh, there's guys out. Okay? I don't want to hear it. Those excuses are just done at this point when it comes to this Bulls team. The Hornets were on a 7-game losing streak heading into tonight, and you lost to them. They have 4 wins on the season. Okay? And you lost by giving up 123 points in this game. Why should I be happy about this? Why should I give you any sort of excuse? Josh Giddey's playing. Kobe White's playing. Montes Muzos is playing. And oh, by the way, for all the people saying that against the New Orleans Pelicans, oh, we didn't have Vooch or whatever. Hey, Vooch was playing today. So why should I be like, oh, we should find some sort of excuse for this team? Now, it's unacceptable. You want this team right now that is not playing defense to be in charge of your overall core moving forward? For me, at least, right now, I am not on plan with this. I am not part of this at all. I am not happy with this at all right now. I am not going to be satisfied if we just let this just continue to happen and act as if we don't need to add more to this core specifically. I'm not talking about adding supporting pieces, okay? I'm not talking about adding bench guys, okay? I'm talking about adding young prospects with actual potential. Legit two-way potential. I don't know, man. Right now, I have no faith right now when it comes to this team. The Bulls could go and beat the Oklahoma City Thunder tomorrow, and I'm just like, well, why can't you beat the fucking 2-15 Pelicans and the 4-win Hornets? I don't get it. And oh, by the way, I don't think we're gonna win against the Thunder. I'm just saying, like, this just can't happen. Going on, Ryan Fraley. Defense is it's just so terrible, man. I'm sorry, y'all. I have to call people individually tonight. I just don't know what the fuck guys are doing out there on the floor. And I know a lot of people are talking about, oh, Billy needs to pull some of these guys. Like, for who? Like, who is going to come in and going to be like, yeah, I'm going to be significantly better defensively and give better effort on this roster? Like, I'm sorry. Like, I don't know anybody on this roster right now that is going to come in and make sure that we're going to give better effort defensively if we pull some of these starters out. Like, I just don't. Like, I'm sorry. I just don't see any sort of way that to just suddenly be changed if I just go to, like, a bench guy suddenly. Besides Trey Jones, okay? Who's been mostly a starter for this season. But other than that, man, I'm just like, I'm not looking at, like, anybody else that's like, yep. You know what? If I put him in the game right now, I think that we're going to get better effort defensively compared to what maybe Josh Giddey or Kobe White are giving us right now. Like, yeah, I think Ayo's better defensively than both those guys in a sense, but, like, I don't think he's even been that great defensively. Kevin Huerter's not really going to give it. And yes, we're missing a Okoro, but Okoro can't fix all these issues. It's just... And if you're depending on Isaac Okoro to even give you a slight bit of defense, there is something wrong with your roster construction. There's just something immediately wrong. Only able to watch the last 2 minutes. Anything crazy I missed? Just terrible defense overall. Bulls not switching properly and getting confused on it's just simple switches. Yeah, that's probably it. Kobe White had a nice third quarter on the offensive end. Was able to drive to the basket consistently, but that's it. Yeah, I don't really think there's much else to really say about this game. Bulls just suck worse than the worst teams in the league. I mean, it's honestly pretty eye-opening, right? That, hey, the worst teams in the league, that teams were, you know, we were all kind of thinking, oh, the Bulls should be probably winning this part of their schedule pretty easily here. We are worse than them currently right now. So, I don't know, y'all. I feel flat out awful about this roster. I'm not here for excuses tonight. I watched the last quarter on my phone, main screen and Sox. They're kind of dog water tonight too. Fair enough. You know what? You at least, you know, gave yourself some sane basketball tonight, at least. Looking forward to which 2026 rookie can rebound and defend well. I mean, let's just be real with ourselves right now. I don't know if the Bulls going to be even close to a top 4 pick. I'm hoping that we're going to get some lottery luck here because, I mean, at this rate, there's no way the Bulls are making the playoffs. But which is an absolute travesty if the Bulls don't make the playoffs with a 5-0 start, by the way. If the Bulls don't make the playoffs, like, that is an insanely bad, like, overall result. Like, it is unacceptable levels. Which is starting to make me kind of think about, like, what the hell is the Bulls front office thinking of Billy Donovan right now? Because, like, if the Bulls front office is actually trying to win and you're losing to these terrible teams right now, like, when are we going to start, like, when are they, first and foremost, going to start looking at the fucking coach that they've hired, that he's in charge of the team that they think is supposed to be, like, a playoff caliber team, and we're losing to the 4-win teams and the 2-win teams? Like, when are they going to start doing that? Because we've been calling out Billy Donovan for a while on this channel, and no more Billy support's ever going to come from this channel ever again, okay? I made that abundantly clear after the Pelicans game. But, like, I'm just wondering to myself right now that if the front office actually believes that this team is, like, pretty quality, then when are they going to start looking at the coach who's in charge of making sure that this team's ready to play every night? Like, when are they going to start looking at the guy that they claim to have such a great relationship with, that, you know, they have an unbreakable bond, and, you know, they have his son, you know, coaching the Windy City team? It's just like, when are we going to start looking at that guy? It's still all on the Bulls front office. This Bulls front office is absolutely the main issue, and obviously the ownership, but, you know, I used to talk about the Bulls front office and the ownership, saying that two things can be true, which is that, hey, Ryan Surf is an absolute shit owner, and this Bulls front office has been given enough to actually make a quality team, and they have failed to do so, okay? Well, let me put it to you this way. I think 3 things can be true now. Front office has been absolute dog shit, and they've been given plenty to make an actual quality team, okay? And the strategy that they've decided to go with of, oh, young with experience, is absolute horseshit. It's just, I'm sorry. It's not a strategy. The Bulls ownership is absolute garbage because they hired these idiots, and yes, they continue to be a terrible ownership. Ryan Surf sucks, and I would recommend not going to games. And I'm not here to, you know, tell you how to fan, but I mean, I'm never going to the Bulls game until things are actually getting figured out here. But last but not least, Billy Donovan has been given a roster that has a lot of issues with it. But at the same time, you should be prioritizing development with this roster, and I'm looking at Montes Buzelis tonight, and I'm just like, is this what Billy Donovan has told Montes Buzelis to shoot? Like, don't look for your own shot off the dribble, only shoot, catch, and shoot threes. Like, you don't take any of the shots in the in-between area. Like, you're just floating out there, okay? Meanwhile, Noah Senge, whenever he's up here, he can't even see any floor time, okay? But, once again, you, as a coach, should be coaching a team that does not give up 120 points in 11 straight games. I don't care how good the offense is in the NBA now. It's just, you should not be giving up 120 points in 11 straight games. And oh, by the way, you gave up 70 points in the first half, the 3 games before this one, and you gave up 67 points in tonight's game in the first half. That's unacceptable. So the third thing that can be true is that Billy Donovan is not doing a good job as a head coach right now, nor is his coaching staff. And yes, I am aware that there are plenty of holes on this roster right now, and that is the front office's fault. That's not Billy's fault. That's on the front office. But even with terrible teams do not give up 120 points in 11 straight games. That just does not happen. Which makes me really think, by the way, how terrible this core is. this core doesn't bring much defensively right now. And we're waiting for Buzelis to, like, you know, develop and everything, but, like, he has to, like, get a better body overall before I'm, like, gonna start being like, oh, like, okay, like, yeah, he's had bad moments defensively. Don't get me wrong. Buzelis deserves a shit ton of criticism for his bad defense as well. But at the same time, I'm looking at the guys that are, like, 2 or 3 years older than him, and I'm just like, your body is already where it should be when Buzelis' body is still obviously trying to get into NBA form. And I'm just looking at these guys, I'm just like, what are you doing? Ori Bulls, what's going on, Delbert? Bulls always play down to the competition, which is unacceptable. I can't stand for this. We cannot continue to do this. If you want to be a good team, you go out and beat whoever's on the floor that night. You act as if they're a good opponent, no matter what. And if it's really that we're just continuing to just play down to our competition, then I'm out, bro. Like, Billy Donovan needs to actually be looked at if that is what's happening right now. Also, I made stream on full potato cam at half, so I turned the Hawks on the main screen. Ah, gotcha. Yeah, don't let Microsoft run your streaming product. Oh, bro, I've been hearing a whole bunch of shit about this recently. I'm so sorry, Ryan. Yeah, the streaming recently with the NBA stuff has just been terrible. So, when it comes to that. ESPN has its flaws, but actual streaming just works, and I'm glad I'm in the St. Louis area, so I don't have to pay the CHSN tax. Yeah, you're very lucky that you don't have to pay that. But yeah, I understand though that there's a whole bunch of like NBA League Pass bullshit going on recently. So, St. Louis friends are better off watching the Pacers in the long run, in my opinion. Oh, for sure. I think that, yeah, like the Pacers are having, you know, a very interesting, like it's, you know, it's all messed up because Halliburton's out, but that Pacers squad's gonna be good for a while, assuming Halliburton comes back and is himself, and they're probably gonna get a really good pick this year. Like, you know, they're in a good spot, man. Consider the audio of the Pacers are in market team there. That's actually really funny. I did not realize that. Yeah, I'm with you now. I'm totally done with this team. I mean, bro, like, this team's gonna have to do an absolute major turnaround when it comes to the defensive effort to get me back on board right now. Because right now I'm completely off the board. I've jumped ship. I am not supporting this core anymore. I'm just not. Like, I cannot stand watching Giddey just not play any defense right now. It's buying the shit out of me because of just like, I appreciate what he's done on offense right now, but he's not good enough offensively to just be like, okay, I'm just gonna act like Luka and, you know, try to like hide myself defensively. Like, he has to give effort. I'm sorry, he just has to. He's not Luka. Luka's allowed to do that because he's like legitimately one of the best scorers we've ever seen and one of the best offensive players of all time right now. But you're Josh Giddey. You're not Luka. You have to give effort. Kobe White, you have to give effort. You just have to. Everyone has to give effort. You can't just depend on everyone else to just cover up your mistakes, okay? And if Vucevic, like, calling these guys out and then, like, you know, committing terrible fouls is also just hilarious to me. I'm just like, you call these guys out and say that we gotta be better defensively, and yet, like, you're not really giving much effort either. It's just ridiculous. So, on all ends, this team is just terrible defensively. And I'm sick of it because it's just like, I think that just effort-wise, I could just see better stuff. Like, we saw in the third quarter, they gave a little bit of effort. It was mostly just Trey Jones, though. But, like, there was some effort. I was like, hey, like, why can't I see this for 48 minutes? And it's not even that much. But yet, start of the fourth quarter happens, and it all goes to shit again. Sorry about the side rant, but all this Bulls team sucks. Hey, no, you're allowed to rant about League Pass. League Pass has been garbage. I totally allow that in this channel. I don't blame you. Not sure what I can say about the Bulls that hasn't been said, but I think Kobe and Vuce hit the market. I think that those guys should most likely be the ones to go first right now. Like, to me right now, what I think the Bulls, I'll get into better detail about what I think the Bulls need to start doing. Like, I started to break it down last stream after that Pelicans L, where I was just like, okay, y'all, like, if the Bulls lose to Charlotte and it's a bad defensive game again, like, we got to have a discussion, and I kind of outlined it, but we'll go over it again today. But here's the reality of the situation. I want to make this clear. Will the Bulls front office follow the blow-up plan that I am probably going to be, you know, recommending to them in this stream? No, they probably won't. Like, I am fully aware that that is the case, but I'm getting just to the point right now with a bunch of fans that I'm just getting pissed at, because it's just like a lot of these fans are talking about, it's just like, well, the Bulls aren't gonna, you know, the Bulls aren't gonna go and rebuild, guys. Like, we should just stop talking about this in general. But I'm like, listen, if I don't care if the Bulls are not gonna follow the rebuild plan like they probably should, but just saying that as an excuse of like, okay, well, they're not going to follow it, so like we should just ignore this right now. I'm like, no, like if the right decision is to probably go ahead and hit the reset button, then we should be calling for the reset button. If they're not going to listen to us, then so be it. But that just basically ignores what has gone wrong and just being like, okay, you know what, we're going to throw it out the window. How can we like patch up these mistakes right now? And just like act as if like this has never happened. I am not here for that. There has to be accountability when it comes to this sort of stuff. And me talking about the blow-up plan is like showing, hey, these guys have been pretty shit in November. Like, I am not here to watch this team lose to the worst teams in the league right now. It's just, if this team is supposed to be solid overall, then losing to the worst teams in the league is just not going to cut it. Like, this is unacceptable. So if that's the case, then we need to actually start looking into making some major changes. And I think that it is perfectly fine to start calling for this stuff, even if the Bulls front office probably won't do it. Same day over and over with this franchise, blow it up and pay Bob Myers a ton to be actual brains while Reinsdorf takes a step back and play golf in the desert. I mean, I'd love to see that. It's never going to happen. Yeah. But I mean, look, I appreciate you recommending this because it's just like, yeah, this is what we probably should be doing. And for anyone who cites shareholder value, this is the way Reinsdorf would max that out. I mean, honestly, that is actually a really good call. Is that if they're gonna maximize shareholder value, that this is how they do it? Sure, yeah. Again, I hate changes for some odd reason. I understand that they hate change, but it's just like, I want change, and I think we have every right to call for change. Like, you know, I think it's a good suggestion by Ryan to bring in Bob Myers. Like, that's a good suggestion. It's probably not going to happen, but like that would probably be a much better decision right now than what we're doing currently. Reinsdorf can't stop micromanaging. It's partially Jerry, but it's also Michael who's, you know, in charge of the Bulls a lot. Vooch, Kobe, and Carl have experience. Have to try to trade them for something before the deadline, which I want to make this clear. You're not going to get any value for Javon Carter. Like, I'm just going to be dead set on that. Like, you're not going to get any value for him. But you need to try to salvage anything for Kobe and Vooch at this point, I think. Like, you're not going to get much for Vooch. Like, it might just be a heavily protected second-round pick. Take it. Like, I'm being dead serious. Just take it, please. Kobe, like, he's on a very nice contract. I think you might need to start just heavily considering it, though. Just be like, yo, like, okay. Like, it's time to actually just start looking at some potential options. And if it's time to trade him, then here's the best one. So... Oh, this doesn't make them panic and start to understand the trade for AD. I think that they're heavily considering that trade right now, and I'm going to lose my mind if it actually does happen. Like, that Anthony Davis trade, like, as I know a lot of people are talking about AD's going to come in and fix the defense. I'm like, listen, bro. Like, the Bulls' perimeter defense is so garbage that, yeah, AD is going to come in and rim protect, but he can't guard 5 guys. So, like, the defense is still going to be bad, even if Anthony Davis is healthy and in his, like, prime defensive form. You need perimeter defense. It is just a reality of the NBA at this point. And guys that are going to be your main scorers right now have to be not liabilities on defense. They have to give something, especially if you're not going to be, like, the best scorer. Like, there's definitely exceptions. Like, Luka's an exception. And honestly, I think Luka's played pretty decent defense for the Lakers this season. But for Giddey, like, I'm sorry, but Giddey has to give defensive effort. He's not good enough to just kind of just lollygag defense and hope that everyone else can take care of it. And if you're building around that, then you're building the team wrong. So I'm just like, yo, come on. If this is the reality, then we have to make some serious discussions right now. He's not the flex, he's not. I agree. They need to focus on the 2026 draft. I agree completely. They probably aren't going to be too heavily focused on it, but yeah. Blackout's down 4-2. They suck tonight as well, though. At least they brought back the black uniforms. That's cool to see. We actually do have a chance of drafting a sleeper pick. Jackson Lendenberg is a senior, so you know teams will pass on him. Where is he projected to go for, though? Because the Bulls don't have a second-round pick this draft, which is really annoying. He doesn't have a system. He has an offensive identity system that has been pretty solid overall in offense. The defensive effort, though, when it comes to that system, it is heavily banking on guys actually giving effort, which we have not seen. But it's also heavily banking on it, and you having guys that that are playmakers defensively, and the Bulls just don't have that. And it's frustrating just to watch because it's just like, again, like if you're Kobe and Giddey, I'm sorry guys, like you have to give some defensive effort if you're gonna ever become all-star caliber in this league. Unless someone's gonna suddenly become like a 35-point per game scorer. It's just how it is. And to see these guys just seem like they're not taking it that seriously is really pissing me off. But it's also that making me really question Billy again. The defensive system is just, it's fight through and, you know, physicality, quote unquote, which the Bulls have none of. And then the 2-3 zone, which is extremely ineffective because you don't have enough guys in the 2 part that have lengthy wingspans that can cover enough ground. It is a shit overall defensive system, a lot due to personnel reasons, but it's also a lot to just do with that these guys aren't trying right now. And I just don't understand why. Like, no one should ever think that right now that their job is safe. You need to go out there and actually give some defensive effort to show that, hey, I am willing to play on this end of the court and actually try. Because if you do, then you should hopefully be getting a lot more minutes. But I understand that Billy's been inconsistent with his minutes this season. So even if we, you know, have that happening, I don't know how it's going to work out. But at the end of the day, like, it is just inexcusable to see this team just go out there and just not switch properly. You know, you'll make a bucket and then 3 seconds later, the Hornets are down the other end and right at the rim. Like, how is that possible? Like, it just cannot happen. Bringing a player development guy who would fit that. Malone seems like an obvious pick, but who knows? Unfortunately, Michael Malone is more of a win now head coach. So, like, I'd be all for Michael Malone if, like, we were kind of in a pretty decent spot, but we're looking to kind of make some changes and, you know, head coaching job is open. I look to bring him in, but in terms of development, I don't really know how much development Malone has done. I mean, I know Jokic, you know, blossomed under him, but I don't really know how much I trust him with that. But who knows? Maybe that's an idea. But either way, there just needs to be some conversations right now. At this point, you start playing Noah Asenge. Like, Asenge is just, I don't understand what they're doing right now. Like, I'm happy that he's played the last 2 G League games. Like, that's a good start. Like, we're heading in the right direction here. But I won't lie. Like, I don't think he's had the best G League game tonight. I was checking in on the box score, which you know, I'll watch his game later. It's on YouTube if you guys are wondering tonight. So we were able to watch it. But yeah, like I'm hoping with the Asenge that things. I'm sorry, I'm on the. Here we go. Like, I assume he had I don't know if he had another good night tonight. Like, he was kind of struggling earlier, but like he's shown that he's pretty good for the G League. But if like this is the case, then I'm like, he needs to play. I don't know why this is doing this. Okay, I don't know. Maybe someone else can see this later. For some reason, the G League website's not working for me right now. Is this what's happening for all the games? Okay, yeah, I guess so. All right, cool. We'll check in on that later. But like, if Asenge is going to be up here, he has to play. If he's not going to be playing up here, he has to stay in the G League, and that's fine with me. I'm being lenient about that. In my opinion, he should be up here right now. But if he's not going to be up here and playing, then he needs to just stay in the G League. Stop doing this whole up and down bullshit right now. I watch Mavericks game and Scout Davis. Yeah, Davis is back. I don't expect the best game from Anthony Davis tonight. He just got back from a calf strain, so. But yeah, we'll have to see how he plays. But again, I'm not interested in him. I'm really not right now. About Mavericks be governor Ryan who can be passive owners in my opinion. Yeah. That doesn't seem to be coaching Moctis, right? He's not. Like, Buzelis didn't play a lot of minutes in tonight's game. Like, or sorry, I guess he played 29. My bad. I thought it was 24. I read that wrong. But either way, I'm not happy with how they're handling Moctis right now. Like, don't get me wrong, he's had some bad moments recently, but I'm just pissed off at how like they're not letting him be a pick and roll ball handler consistently, which I think he should be getting those sort of looks right now. And then like it just seems like any moment like he kind of messes up, it's just like yank. And I'm like, every player on this roster is being terrible defensively right now. Why is it only him? Like, why are you only taking him out when it's something goes wrong? Like, it should be everybody should be. If we're going to be taking out Buzelis, then everybody should be yanked when they mess up. But it's always just like with Buzelis, they're just like, oh no, we got to take him out. Now, don't get me wrong. Rebounding tonight, he needed to get more rebounds. Like, we had some issues getting defensive rebounds again tonight in certain moments. It wasn't as terrible overall, but still not. We still had some moments when we give up offensive rebounds when we shouldn't, and he's a part of that. He needs to be better with that. But the shot selection, like just how they're using him right now, I just don't understand. I'm lost. Like, there is just much better ways to try to use Buzelis, and that I hated everything how he was used tonight. Environmental battle figures as well something. It's an eye-opening moment, right? I live in the metro part of Illinois near St. Louis. It was always weird watching Pacers games on Fox Sports Midwest back in the day. I think the Air Grizzlies games also, and sometimes Royals games. That's such a weird spot. I understand geographically it's weird, but yeah, I guess that's how it works. But they can't maybe be close to the cross rebuild and Paxson rebuild, probably. But I think that no matter what, you should be trying to go for the proper decision here. I'm not here to say that they're going to do the rebuild properly, but you just banging your head against the board here and just being like, no, this team will figure it out, and we're going to try to fix some of the gaping holes that this team has right now. It's just like, I don't think that should be the strategy. Like, I think you need to actually start thinking about, no, we need to just go and just draft young and go and accumulate as many young prospects or as many picks as possible right now. Because even if you're not the best at scouting, and even if you're not the best at trying to figure out how to do a full-out rebuild, at least you have a shit ton of draft picks to work with. Like, that should be the priority at this moment in time. But it's not. It's not the priority with this Bulls roster. It's not the priority with this front office. And they're right now thinking like, oh, we need to find a way to help support these guys. When it's like, no, I think the core is an issue right now. I don't like this backcourt with what we're seeing so far. And, I'm sorry to Kobe. I'm not saying this is all his fault, because it's just like Kobe comes back and, the team is not playing well. But it's just like, it's the entire core alone is like, I'm not buying into this. Giddey being the main guy, I'm not for it. Like, he has to be much better to be the main guy, but also just give effort defensively, and we're not seeing that. Okay, Kobe, like, he can get his own shot at any given moment, but turnovers sometimes aren't the greatest, but defensively, again, it's not good enough. And then this guy is the guy that I feel like we should have the most hope about, but the way that the Bulls are just handling these guys is just so confusing to me. And again, I'm saying it's not here, so I don't know, I don't really know what to say about it. So, but it's just like, why should I be investing into this backcourt right now? I feel there's just so many other options, and if the Bulls just go and just try to draft again, like, it would just be better. He was saying Booz is in a slump, which is true, but I feel like he's been told to stay in the corner since Kobe got back the same way every single one of our young forwards has been over the last 5 years, which is ridiculous because, like, Buzelis has that potential to be a dynamic on-ball wing, and he's not getting those opportunities. It's just, nope, stay in the corner, no, look to get some cutting actions, which, yes, that needs to be part of his game. The ability to knock down a quarter three-point shot and to also cut, like, that has to be part of his game. But in terms of, like, let's say of, like, all these guys, so, like, all right, who needs these on-ball reps to help this team get to a next level? It's Montes Buzelis, okay? And I just don't understand why all of a sudden now he is just being asked to stay in the corner, spread the floor, and be a guy to move off ball and get his looks that way. That just cannot happen, okay? Like, Kobe White taking 23 shots today is pretty high. I don't really need that. Like, we can take some of those shots and we can give it to Buzelis and it'd be perfectly fine. I don't understand how Montes Buzelis can have the same amount of shots as Kevin Huerter in this game. It does not make any sense whatsoever in my head to be saying, oh yeah, this is totally fine, that Buzelis, our young prospect with two-way potential that has probably the best all-star potential on the roster, is getting only 8 shots in this one. Like, unacceptable. It just cannot happen. He's an awful coach. His rotation kill momentum and make no sense. The team plays terrible defense while Vooch is extra hard, having 0 rim protection or a big that can't defend pick and rolls. But it's also really hard when none of your main guards can guard the pick and roll either. Like, I understand that Vooch is, like, yeah, he's not a rim protector whatsoever, but, like, this team as a whole just doesn't seem to be able to guard the pick and roll effectively. Which fake tough postgame Vucevic showed up during the game. I mean, yeah, we'd all love to see that. Don't know why he just is like, yeah, gonna call out the team as the vet and be like, yo guys, this is unsustainable, we gotta be better, and then, he's not playing the best game tonight. gives up terrible fouls, like gives up position down low, is not playing in any sort of good defensive effort in the pick and roll. It's just like, what are we doing? You want the Bulls to be out the Mavericks for their incompetence? Well, here's the issue with that. Like, I said that, hey, thank God that Nico Harrison exists because there's at least one more person more stupid than Arturas Karnisovas. And, you know, I think that's going to always reign supreme as just like, yeah, that is the dumbest NBA trade, or one of the dumbest trades, if not the dumbest trade in NBA history that Nico Harrison ever did. But the reality situation is that he's gone. So, like, you're not going to make a move with the Mavericks right now where it's going to severely benefit your team, right? Like, the Mavericks are going to want every sort of beneficial part of the trade. That's just how it's going to go. So, because they just had the most massive L in history. So, if you're going to ever go with the Mavericks, like, I think just taking Anthony Davis is just an absolute terrible idea. It's going to allow the Mavericks to regain cap space and everything and also give them picks, which is ridiculous. But, like, it is just absolutely going against everything that we've said that we want this Bulls team to actually do, which is not skip steps. And right now, I think the Bulls were already skipping steps by doing this whole young players with experience bullshit and not accumulating draft picks and not accumulating more young talent and, you know, keeping Nikola Vucevic on the roster to try to get this team to stay competitive. But then to double down on it and go and trade for Anthony Davis, and you know, you're going to have to give up somebody in that deal that's probably, you know, valuable or whatever. But either way, you're giving up picks in that deal. You're just skipping steps. You're going to continue to skip steps, and you're going to put yourselves in bigger holes, and it's going to put yourself in a much worse position in the future. Like, trading for Anthony Davis right now is not going to make this team a contender. So why is it worth trading a bunch of picks for Anthony Davis? It just isn't. So until you can go and find me a team and go to make the moves in free agents or whatever, or trades, and actually build this team to being to the point where if you make a trade for Anthony Davis that they're actually contenders, then we can talk about it. But that's not where this team is. This team is not an Anthony Davis trade away, even if he plays in all 82, from being a contender. They're just not. So why should we even be considering this right now? And the part that pisses me off, and I'm not talking about you guys, I'm talking about specifically like AK and co. Like, if they're actually considering this, which I'm afraid that they are, like, I am going to be livid as fuck if they actually do this deal. Like, why are you even considering it at all? You're not an Anthony Davis trade away from helping this team suddenly become a great overall team. You're not. It's just an unreal level of just stupidity if the front office is thinking that way. And I will admit, there's also Bulls fans that think this way too, and it really makes me upset. It probably shouldn't, but it's like, I feel like I talk to enough just Bulls fans that just, I don't know what they're looking at sometimes. I feel like they don't watch the games. I'm trying to figure out. Okay, I don't know what's going on with the G League box score tonight. I can't pull it up for some reason. I'm gonna try Incognito tab just to see if that could do it, but I don't know what's going on. It's just giving me a lot of bugs. Yeah, an error occurred. So let me know if that ever gets updated. I want to see what Asenge did, because at one point I saw Asenge had like he was shooting 4 for 7 from the field. He had 10 points and he had like 3 block shots and like 6 rebounds or something like that. But there was still a lot of game left. So I don't know what he was doing. And here's the thing, by the way, for all these people that are already off the Asenge, you know, support, like, I understand that you're pretty pissed off with what we saw, and don't get me wrong, I'm pissed off with how the Bulls have handled Asenge. I don't understand what they're doing. But, like, if there's a guy that I have faith in to actually be impactful on both ends of the floor and like can come in and have the IQ and also the physical skills to just immediately come in and just be decent defensively at the bare minimum, but also probably be like pretty significantly good defensively, and then also give impact on the other side of the floor, it's gonna be Asenge. Okay, from what we've seen, like, he is just by far like the guy understands defense at like a high IQ level that I don't think many players on this roster have. Okay, including Buzelis. But it's just that, like, I get that he's super raw right now, but I just don't understand how Bulls fans are all of a sudden like, oh, we're done with Asenge already. Don't get me wrong. If the Bulls wanted to draft somebody that they're actually going to play this season, they shouldn't have drafted him. And, you know, that's on them. But I'm just like, if all these Bulls fans are like asking for defense, which I am, right? But if you're also asking for defense, I'm like, okay, well, Sengun could actually be that guy that give you some of that. He's not gonna fix it all. I'm just saying that like he can actually give you the defense. Okay, it's probably not gonna be this season, but moving forward though, at least you're gonna have a guy who, again, next season he'll be 19 hopefully, and hopefully be playing. Like he'll hopefully be giving you the defensive effort. And the defensive tools also on that end. Now I can't Larry out here aiding the Acres and Presty with their confidence, so we cannot let them. Oh, for sure, yeah. We not let them have a lifeline. Screw that. People think Giddey lost his confidence to drive to the hoop since his ankle sprain. I have seen that, but I think you're just seeing defenses adjust to him. Like you're seeing that when Giddey tries to drive like off like a potential transition opportunity, that like defenses just heavily load up into the paint and then. Right, okay, yeah, we dare to spray it out or something, or try to get past us and try to just basically like get him like kind of get in his way to try to knock him off balance, and he just doesn't have really fully the footwork to consistently find ways to counter that. And again, we've talked about his lack of athleticism already, so it's just like, you know, I expect him to get better with that sort of stuff, but again, if you know, he can do whatever on offense right now, I just don't really care what he's doing on offense. Like it's definitely not been the best. He's missing some easy gimmies at the rim right now. His 3-point shot finally looked the best it's looked in a while. But it's just like I don't really care what he's doing on offense. Like I just care about the fact that defensively, I'm watching him. I'm like, he's just a wet paper towel out there. Like I appreciate the rebounding. That is obviously part of the defense, and that is very important. But like we cannot have him just being out there as just a wet paper towel. It's not going to work. Same thing with this guy. Like. And this goes for everybody. It's just that, but people just want to give Giddey the pass because of what he's doing on offense constantly. And I'm like, I'm not here for it. Like he's good enough on offense to be potentially a 20-point per game scorer every single night, but he's not good enough on offense to just get the Luka treatment where you try to hide him constantly and you just kind of have him kind of stand still on defense. But even again, like, I think Luka defensively has actually been pretty solid this year. So you're seeing that. Like, having these guys as just major liabilities on the floor, it's just not going to work, man. They're going to have to find ways to transform themselves into not being liabilities. No point gunning your team to get injured AD just because he's from Chicago. But I think that it's not just because he's from Chicago, but it's because that he's like supposed to like come in and fix your defensive issues, right? Like I think that's why people are heavily considering AD, is because it's like, oh, you get an interior scorer that can, you know, defend pretty effectively, can defend the rim, and he could be our shot blocker that we've so desperately needed. Like it does fill needs if he's there, but I'm just like I don't care if he's gonna come in and be a great shot blocker. You're still gonna have a shit defense if your perimeter defense is so terrible. But yeah, and obviously it's the whole point of it is just that because of his injury risk and because of his age, like you're potentially not giving up that much for a potential all NBA guy, which is just like, yo, the risk is just too high in this sort of situation. Like there are some risks that you should probably be taking. Like if the Pelicans are willing to give up Zion for nothing, then sure. But like AD at his age and his injury history, no. Davis shouldn't come anywhere near this team. Build through the draft, develop. It's that simple. But again, like I agree with everything you just said, Black Midnight. But I'm also saying that the Bulls need to prioritize draft picks. Like you need to prioritize draft picks, not just your own draft picks. Okay, you need to find a way to go and get draft picks and not just depend on only your own. Like that's why I think is also important in this whole thing, because like yeah, like the Bulls could like basically like tear this all down and like, you know, sell guys off for whatever, and you know, only get like some things back. But it's just like you also need draft picks, first or second round, I don't care. Just you need to go and accumulate as much draft picks as you can to try to help this team draft some guys and load up on these sort of guys to come on in and build a better defensive foundation. And I want to make that just clear. Like, I'm not saying what you said was wrong. I'm just saying that, like, you know, I think for some people, like, they would argue right now that what the Bulls are doing is that, which is like, oh, see, we're going through the draft. We have all of our draft picks moving forward, and we're going to be selecting someone in the first round every year. I'm like, right, but I need more than that. We don't have a second round pick this season, which is ridiculous. But it's just like, I need more than just our own first round pick to be saying that, oh, we're building through the draft properly, because that to me, it looks like if your own first round pick is just like, that's just like an additional guy that you're just bringing on, you know, it's just an additional person that you added to the roster this offseason. And yeah, they're young, but like, that's not really building through the draft. That tells me that you're focusing on other things as well and not just building through the draft. So I'm not happy with what we're looking at right at this moment. Posing a coach in front office is when to build through the draft, and they don't have that. I mean, yeah, I completely agree. And like I said, I agree that the Bulls front office is never going to do this. But like I said, just because that we think they're not going to do this does not mean that we just can have to just shut up about it. Like, no, we should still be calling out this Bulls front office and saying, hey, you guys are not doing the proper thing right now. You guys need to go and actually build through the draft. And we're going to be screaming about this until you go ahead and do so, or you go and actually sign a major free agent in the offseason, which we are not ever going to do. And I know a lot of people are talking about our cap space this upcoming offseason. It's not that much at this current moment in time. And even if we did have a lot, it's not like there's a bunch of great free agents on the market right now that are going to be willing to come to us. So, like, I just, once again, you got to build through the draft. I'm an analytics nerd like you, but defense is an effort thing regardless. But I mean, even the analytics have just said that, like, the defense has just got awful. Like, even like analytics nerds can just be like, okay, yeah, like the Bulls defense sucks. But also just like, even just the normal stats, which again, if you're ever wondering what analytics means, it just means information, okay? But even stuff that I don't even consider analytics, that are just normal stats that a lot of people consider analytics for some stupid reason, like, they all just say the Bulls defense sucks. Like, that's what it just comes down to, is just the Bulls defense is just awful. So, like, even for people that are trying to be like, oh, analytics or whatever, like, again, you're talking to a guy that really likes analytics, and I truly do appreciate them. You know, they're not the end all be all for me, but like, I look at that sort of stuff. But again, if you're one of the people saying that analytics nerds are saying, oh, they're the people that say that 3 is more than 2 or whatever, or that, oh, you give up a layup for a 3-point shot. First and foremost, analytics do not say that. And again, it's not analytics. It is just straight up information. Okay. Like, that's not information. That's not analytics. That's information. But well, even with that being said, like, analytics say the Bulls defense is garbage. Like, normal stats say the Bulls defense is garbage. Like, I don't know what we even need to look at right now. It's just that, hey, yeah, it's effort-wise, but effort-wise, it doesn't matter. It just shows that, you know, forget the eye test, that Bulls defense just sucks right now. You have the most points in the paint per game, this is what you're gonna get. That would be cheaper for one. I mean, I would hope it'd be cheaper, but I don't know. I agree. I get as many as you can if your goal is to rebuild. Yeah, they should be doing that. It's just, yeah, Bulls front office doesn't prioritize it. Give a Zion and that Carlo kid as your starting center. Carlo kid. I don't know who the Carlo kid is. Sorry. Even the guy who was living in a Harold's Chicken, he would defend harder than anyone on our roster. I mean, I don't want to say that, but like, for some people, maybe. I do think Kobe, Ayo, and Vooch should get some sort of picks. Really? I mean, traded? So, okay, I think Ayo, with the way he's playing right now, I know you didn't have a good game tonight, but I think Ayo will get you potentially a first rounder. Because he could get extended with the team that gets traded to. Like, there's a possibility of that happening, and so like, it might be worth for a team to give up a first for him, especially with the way he's playing right now. Kobe, I don't know. I'm like trying to convince myself that a team would, but again, on an expiring deal, unrestricted free agent, he's not going to re-sign. He's not going to extend with you. He could re-sign with you, but he's not going to extend with you. So like, I don't know. I have trouble trying to convince myself that Kobe is going to give us a first in return, but maybe. Vooch, I've been adamant you're not going to get one. I just don't see any team that's going to be taking Vooch for a first. So your hope is probably Kobe and Ayo. And then, you know, I see you, Noel, you mentioned that timeline-wise, Gideon Matas would be realistic to keeps right now. I actually think right now that the Bulls need to actually consider trading Josh Giddey. Like, if I was the Bulls, like, I'm actually considering it right now because he actually might give you the most in return because of his long-term contract and the way he started the year. That, like, hey, you know, he's done decent enough to start the season. He's outperformed my expectations. I don't know what everyone else had, but he's on a 4-year deal, all guaranteed. It's a flat contract. Like, if a team really does value him, like, they probably would be willing to give up a lot for him at this moment in time. So I would actually be heavily considering trading him because he might actually return the most value for you at this current moment. And the reality of Giddey, again, like, I think that he can be potentially a, you know, quality starter for a winning team. Okay, he won't be the all-star. He's not gonna be the main guy for sure, but he'll be potentially a starter. I'm just saying that, like, you have to understand that, like, if Giddey's not gonna play defense, then I don't know if he's gonna, you know, be a quality starter then moving forward. It doesn't make out 5 Giddey should have higher value. No, that's ridiculous. I'm sorry. That's a ridiculous saying. Desmond Bane got 5 because he was on a heavily guaranteed contract, but he was also, like, he's a basically plug and play guy that defensively he's definitely not been the best, but like he actually would try defensively, but like he's a plug and play guy that is like borderline all-star and arguably should have been all-star some years. Like that to me, they're two, like, I put Desmond Bane in a higher tier than Giddey personally. So I don't think that Giddey's gonna get you 5 first-round picks. There's no way. Especially because defensively he's been absolutely awful, especially recently. Like if you're a team that's trying to contend and you're training for Josh Giddey, like you want to hope that he's actually playing defense. And if you hear that he's not really playing defense, then you're not gonna give up 5 first-round picks for him. However, do I see maybe the Bulls could get like 2 first-round picks? Then sure. Yeah, I think that'd be totally fine if I could get 2 first for Giddey right now, especially if they're unprotected. Like I'd be totally fine with it. I wouldn't trade Giddey unless this is a return. Noel, you're out of line. Like there is no way you're getting 5 first-round picks for Josh Giddey. There's no way. I'm telling you right now, there is no way. Josh Giddey is not right now. Noel, I'm being dead serious right now. Josh Giddey is not an all-star in the Eastern Conference this season right now. So why would a team give up 5 first-round picks for Josh Giddey? There's no way they're gonna give 5 first-round picks for him. There is legitimately no way. Thing is, Presti trade Giddey here for a reason. When is he wrong? Oh, he's definitely never wrong. Like he's definitely never wrong. Like Presti recently is like, or I mean, I shouldn't say that. Like Gordon Hayward was not a proper decision by him, but like Presti recently has never been wrong, and like he realized that, oh, I could get Alex Caruso, who was an all defensive level defender, for just giving up Josh Giddey only, and who's gonna be coming off my bench. Like, yeah, that makes a lot of sense. Like for where they were, like it makes a lot of sense then. All right, keep Giddey though. Then I mean that's your decision. For me, I'm just like, hey, if I can get 2 first, I'm trading him. Especially if they're unprotected and you can get some like maybe a younger prospect as well. Like I'm all for it at this point. Like I'm being dead serious right now. Like I do not like this core at all right now. Like this core is just pissing me off. There's no defense between the backcourt. Like we're not doing anything with Buzelis at this current moment in time. Like I'm not here for it. I'm not here to be supporting this core at this current moment in time until they actually show me something different defensively. And I don't want to hear excuses. I don't want to hear like, oh, this team is like, oh, they're tired. Oh, we're missing guys. Like the core's out there. This is your starting, like Buzelis, White, and Giddey are supposed to be your starting guys in the starting lineup for like the next 5 to 7 seasons. And right now I'm seeing no defense from any of these guys, and even Buzelis, who I think needs to figure it out defensively right now. But like these guys, like, yeah, they gave you like all right nights on offense. Giddey was close to triple-double, but it's like I honestly felt like it just wasn't like that amazing of a triple-double overall. I'm probably being too hard on him, but defensively, these guys did nothing. Like neither one of these guys really did anything defensively today, and that to me is an issue. I don't want to invest in these guys if they're gonna give you 0 on defense. Like you gotta give me something. There's an absurd offer like that. I ain't trading Giddey right now. Okay, that's your decision. Yeah, and there could be an argument for it. To me though, I'm just like, the way that I look at it is like Giddey, to me, you have to really start considering right now is like, is he actually part of this future or not? And if he's gonna be part of your future, then what is he? right? Like he's not going to be the main ball handler, at least in my opinion. So, and why would any other team think that he would be the main ball handler right now? I don't know why. But if that is the case, then like again, you're not going to get 5 first-round picks for him. If he's, especially if he's not going to become, you know, Luka Doncic for them. So then you need to start considering like, okay, well if we're not going to be all in on him moving forward, then we need to maybe cut bait now when his value is going to be pretty significantly high because his contract is pretty lengthy and you know he's arguably played, you know, pretty past it at this moment. 2 first-round picks is signing a Giddey Hug because he's gone. If I had to say, that's just my opinion, and you know, Noah obviously has a different opinion, but I that's the way I look at it personally. If I'm getting 2 firsts right now for Giddey, I would do it, but it would matter in the context of the first. Like if it's, you know, if I think they're gonna be protected in any sort of way, like okay, I don't know about that. Yeah, and there's all this bullshit on it about like, oh, eventually we'll turn to a second. Like, yeah, we're not going to do that. But if I gotta get 2 unprotected first right now, I think we should probably consider it. And here's the thing. I don't think many teams would even be willing to do that right now. I think most teams are willing to give up like a first and a couple of seconds and some players. But if it's 2 firsts, then I'm getting a player as well to match the contracts because he's making $25 million. Like, I wouldn't say no. I'd be heavily considering that and probably be pulling the trigger. And I agree with Black Midnight. Like the best you're gonna get is 2 firsts for Giddey. Like I don't think you're gonna be getting. I don't think you're gonna be getting more than that at this moment in time. In my head, Giddey has all-star potential and size be hidden on D. I personally disagree. I don't think he's gonna give you enough on offense to make up for being nothing on defense. Like to me, you have to understand what I mean by that though. Like. To me, if you're going to be hidden on defense, like, you need to be MVP caliber. Like, we're talking, like, Luka Doncic level, which he's putting up an insane season, or, like, you know, like, what Kevin Durant would do every single season. Like, Jokic is not even, like, a liability anymore defensively, if we even look at it. But, like, you have to, like, put up that sort of level of stuff. And that, like, all-star level potential, to me, is just not, that's just not enough. I'm talking, like, superstar level. And I don't think Giddey's done that yet. I'm asking Miguel, defensive mentality and culture, he's had his time. Well, it's also personnel, but I agree, though. I think Donovan needs to go because I think that giving up 120 points in 11 consecutive games is not just the players, it's also the coach's fault. And we need to see that there has to be a change in mentality when it comes to that. And the coaching staff has to get these guys better prepared. Yeah, showing up for early in the season, in my opinion, to be superstar. Like, we're talking superstar, like MVP caliber. Also, I don't know about that. I mean, I don't think Giddey is going to be an all-star this season. Like, I'm being dead serious. And the way that I look at Giddey, like, he's going to have to, again, take another massive scoring leap to become an all-star unless the Bulls are, like, really seriously winning. Which is just, like, again, like, if the Bulls are going to be seriously winning and Giddey's going to be putting up this line, then someone else is going to have to be added to the roster. Like, that's the way I look at it. So... unless, again, he's going to have to find a way to significantly increase his scoring. So, if that's the case, then you're looking at best all-star. If he's going to just stay around where this scoring level is and, you know, be close to averaging, you know, 10 and 10 in the other stats. Like, that's great, but I don't think he's going to just suddenly just become a 30-point per game scorer on this sort of level. But, again, he's proven me wrong before. Let's see it. In my opinion, unfortunately, he shoots too inconsistently around the rim to really heavily increase his scoring ability to be like, you know, high 20s or higher. But I don't know. Maybe I'm doubting it too much right now. If you're a one-way player, you need to be Bird or Magic level, in my opinion. Magic in these days would be interesting, but maybe. I don't know how I feel about Magic Johnson in today's world. I feel like you would need to give defense still. Because, like, in my opinion, like, Giddey is kind of what Magic is, like, in today's game, in a sense. Like, he's kind of just, like, this big guard, passer, you know, rebounder. You know, that's, like, his main priorities, and then now he's adding in the scoring this season. But it's not like he's not looking for a shot most of the time. So, like, in my opinion, like, Magic is, like, kind of what we're seeing in Giddey in a sense. It's, you know, Magic's probably still better, but I still would want defense then, especially if you're 6'8". And we're selling too low on Giddey. He's just 23, averaging triple-double. No, I'm aware, but I think that when we say average triple-double, right, there is a difference between Russell Westbrook and his triple-double and Luka Doncic and his near triple-doubles and Jokic and his, you know, averaging a triple-double and Giannis and, you know, when he gets triple-doubles, right? There's a major difference, okay, between, you know, guys that are maybe not averaging triple-doubles like Giannis is, like, right now currently, or how Luka isn't averaging a triple-double right now, right? But those guys are significantly better and much more better players and give significantly more impact right now than Giddey, who is, let's just say, he is averaging triple-double right now. Like, it's just, it's not at the same level. He has to, if he's just going to only average 20, right, on these numbers with high turnovers, and, you know, he'll get, like, the rebounds and the assists for it, but, like, he's going to have to give you defensive effort at this moment in time. And I'm just saying that, like, hey, the defense has been atrocious, and he's been part of that. Like, I'm like, I know that, like, if you're wondering about these conversations right now, I was like, is this worth it? I'm like, I said, the start of the stream, we're going to have some conversations, and this is it right now. So this is what I'm saying right now. We're going to have these conversations, because I'm just like, if I'm not bought into this core, if I was in the front office and I'm not bought into this core right now, then I'm like, all right, I'm looking to sell Giddey right now, because he's on a 4-year guarantee deal at this moment in time. I'd be out there to take. I've seen since the Julian Phillips superfan on Twitter claiming he's the future. Oh, I mean, that guy is, yeah, he's interesting. I don't know what's going on with him, but yeah. Also, at least low. I feel like what will stop Giddey from superstar level is the pull-up game. Well, there's two things. One is definitely the pull-up game, which has limited his pick and roll ability. No pull-up game means you have no ISO ability, really, unless you're going to be driving all the time like Giannis is, which he's not able to do so. So yeah, the pull-up game is obviously a massive issue. Defensively, there's also that part. That he doesn't really give much defensively in terms of that sort of help. But the other issue that right now, and again, like, we saw a pretty decent start to the season with this, but I think he upped his numbers tonight, if I'm not mistaken, with what I saw. But we were talking about with Giddey with his finishing, right? So just to make this clear of what we've been seeing recently. So I don't think this is updated. Maybe it is, maybe it isn't. But this number is now below 60. Actually, I think it is updated, if I'm not mistaken. Let's see here. I can't give you a firm decision, but anyway, this number has just been, this number has unfortunately declined. Like, this has been an issue just recently for him. I don't know what it is. Like, I know, like, people have been talking about, like, the ankle issue, but, like, this number for a 6'8" guy, or 6'7", I guess, listed now, like, that has to just be higher. I'm sorry. Because, like, we're starting to get into territories now where if we're below 60% at the rim at his height, right? Like, that's gonna limit his consistency in the interior, and teams are gonna just start heavily be like, okay, yeah, we dare you to score, and try to find ways to break down the defense by yourself and go and get your buckets, right? The good news is that, like, he has been getting to the line at a higher rate recently, which is definitely necessary, right? But this number has to find a way to get above 60%. Like, it was above 60% to start the season for sure. Like, it was much higher, but, like, we're seeing now, like, there's issues where, like, all of a sudden, like, I mean, this season was decent from the rim, but he was not the best from three. But, like, he has to be up there, and if he's not up there, then I'm not really, I don't really have much faith in him suddenly becoming superstar or even all-star right now. And I think that people forget, like, you know, Giddey had that great start to the season, and like, don't get me wrong, he was a huge part of why they won early. But I think people just forget though, like, there's only 12 guys that make the All-Star team from each conference every year, and like the level you have to be at to be consistently All-Star is like it's a high level, and I think that's what people are starting to maybe kind of forgetting right now. Is just like, okay, like, well, who are we looking at as like, yeah, these are our guys, and consistently being All-Star. And reminder, Tyrese Halliburton recently, what the hell is this? I don't know what this is, my bad. Tyrese Halliburton is not here this season, but let's just go in the East, okay? Like, we talked this out. Like, we have Cunningham, okay, and yes, I'm very much aware about the eight internationals, but I've already in my head thought that I don't think Giddey's gonna make it even with that. But just, you know, your typical starting five, I guess, if we want to put it this way. All right, hold on. I wrote this down, and I'm blanking on some guys. Give me a second here. Oh, right, yeah. But starting five, I guess, if you just want to you want to give it to those guys. But then after that, it's like Maxey, Brunson, Brown, Powell. So I'll stop. I'm gonna no, I'll keep doing it. And there's no restrictions, by the way, for positions this season. Like, what's the argument for any of these guys right now to not be picked instead of Giddey? Like, that's what I'm saying. And again, this is not to take away what Giddey has done. I'm just saying that, like, we have to, I think, understand that, like, these guys have just been better. And if we want to put honorable mentions in this list, okay, so I'll put Giddey in this list, but we have not talked about Brandon Ingram yet. Okay. We will see what Darius Garland kind of ends up being this season. Have not mentioned Trae Young. I doubt, like, Siakam's gonna be part of this conversation, but we will see. Like, maybe. Like, these are guys that, you know, I haven't even, like, listed yet as potential other guys. And, you know, for example, the Toronto Raptors, like, I mean, the way that they're playing, like, they deserve a representative at this moment in time. You know, with the Atlanta Hawks, it's I forgot Jalen Johnson. Like, you know, Trae Young's been out, but like Jalen Johnson's been really insane since Trae Young's been out. Like, he deserves All-Star at this current moment in time. So I'm just pointing this out. Like, it's tough. It's tough to get into this consistently, and you know, I have him here for now, but like, he's gonna have to really just show, like, yeah, we're in these conversations with these guys. Like, Maxey's been an insanely, like, one of the best guards in the league. Like, same thing with this guy. Powell's been also insanely good. Okay, and oh, by the way, this is not even mentioning Tyler Hero, who just got back. Like, there's so many guys that we haven't even discussed about that are in the honorable mentions. So I don't know. I think it's tough. If you're wondering about internationals, Giannis and Towns count for internationals, and then out west there is a starting five. The starting five is gonna be, it's gonna be Doncic, Shea, Jokic, Wemby. So 4 guys out west already, and then Giannis is most likely to be the starting for the internationals. And then that's not even mentioning Şengün. Okay, that's not mentioning Jamal Murray yet. It's not even mentioning Lauri Markkanen yet. Like, there's just all these guys out west that's gonna fill up the international spots. That it's just like, it's gonna be tough for him to make it. Do I want him to make it? Yeah, because I think it puts the Bulls in a hell of a much better spot if Josh Giddey is gonna be making the All-Star team. But I don't know. I feel like I don't really have any reason to put him ahead of any of these guys at this current moment in time. And even for many of these guys in the honorable mentions, and, you know, we'll take away Siakam, Young, and Garland for a second right now, and also Hero. But I feel like Ingram and Jalen Johnson deserve it over him at this moment in time. Yeah, I don't know. Triple doubles on me squad after not winning enough. I appreciate triple doubles still. Like, I think getting triple doubles is very impactful no matter what. But I think that like the way that people look at triple doubles is just like, oh, it's automatically gonna put you as like an superstar level guy. Is just like, you need to also, the reason why the Russell Westbrook triple double was so insane was because he was averaging like 30 plus, right? Jokic is averaging like 28. So like, these guys are putting up the scoring as well as doing all these other parts of the game. That's why it's so insane. And oh, by the way, they're shooting really efficiently too, which unfortunately with Giddey's efficiency, it's been low. So like, that's the reason why when you look at this sort of stuff, it's like triple double is no matter what going to be impactful. Like, a guy can come off the bench and get 10, 10, and 10. Like, that is still impactful at the end of the day. And I don't take that away. I'm just saying that the level of like, oh, triple double is then always going to be over guys like Donovan Mitchell, for example. Like, I disagree. I think having a guy that is consistently in the 30-point per game category and is your go-to guy and does everything on offense to create shots for others is more impactful than getting maybe an 18-point, 10 and 10 triple double on 46% shooting. Like, that's just my opinion though. So I think that's just why it's like this talk about the triple double is just, we have to understand the level to it. Why the triple double for these superstars is so damn insane. And that, like, you know, these other guys that aren't averaging a triple double, like, they absolutely deserve their flowers still. I want to make that clear. The guys keep out the Bulls are Giddey and Matas. Okay. Later on, I just think keeping Giddey is a low risk, high reward potential. Of course, Giddey isn't like any of those guys, but I do think that when 90% of the time when Giddey performs, the team performs well. I mean, you could say that a lot about the guy. Like, if your main ball handler is performing well, then I would say that's the case for a lot of teams, is that most of the time that the team will also perform well when the main ball handler is performing well. But do you want to then depend on Josh Giddey to be that guy to always perform well for your team? Like, I'm just asking questions, right? He's like give you a near triple double in the flow of the game, not a guy who could take it over like Magic, Oscar, or Westbrook. Or I think people forget, like, Jokic has averaged a triple double, guys. Like, I think people forget that. Like, people just for some reason just throw Jokic out of the window, but he's averaged a triple double, and his triple double is just massively more impactful than what Giddey has done. He's jack of all trades with that, masters of none. I think he's mastered rebounding as a guard, and I appreciate that. I think he's also mastered passing. In terms of like finding his open teammates when they're open, right? I think he's mastered that. I think I give Giddey all the credit in the world for being as good of a passer as he is. What he has not mastered though is still finishing at the rim, ability to shoot off the dribble. You know, I'll put his catch and shoot shooting in a good tier right now. Like, he's been pretty solid in the catch and shoot department. Turnovers are still an issue for him. He came in averaging 3.6 turnovers per game tonight. Which, you know, he didn't have any turnovers tonight, which is great, but Charlotte's defense is garbage. It's just as like, it's arguably just as bad as ours, but it's, you know, we were worse tonight. And obviously defensively he's not really giving you much on that end right now. So I don't know, in my opinion, I think scoring you know, is the most important thing to master if you're ever going to be a main guy. Which again is just like, hey, I'm just asking the question of just like, if you don't think he's gonna be the main guy, then what are you gonna do with him? Like, there is the argument, even if you don't think he's the main guy, to just keep him around. But you have to understand that if you go and draft a Cam Boozer, or you draft an AJ or something like that, or you go and draft another, you know, guard that, like, let's say you got Dylan Harper in this past draft, like, we have to just be aware, like, that guy is gonna also need the ball, and Giddey's overall touches are gonna have to go down, just because, like, that's gonna potentially be your main guy moving forward, right? So if that's the case, then what are you gonna do with him? Like I said, I think Giddey has done well enough with what I've seen from this season and also from last season that he can be an impactful starter on a winning team. He just probably can't be the main guy, but that requires defense, and so it's a bet on, can he get better defensively, which I think that some of you would definitely be willing to take that bet. And, you know, I think that that's a perfectly fine bet to be taking for when it comes to him. And also staying with, making sure his production is still solid when he's going to be moved to a little bit more off-ball role. But if he does not, do that, like there's the risk, right? There's the potential risk of like if you are, looking to draft like the next guy for your squad and he's, moving to the off-ball role, which he's not as used to doing, then it doesn't really work out too well. That's the risk, right? And all of a sudden his offensive production is not as good as it was. His defense is not getting any better. Like that's why I'm saying like maybe you should have traded him when he was playing well, right? Like right now overall, and his value is pretty high, and he has a 4-year guaranteed contract on him right now. Like it's probably the most time you get the most trade value for him. So, again, this is the blow it up idea I'm just talking about right now. Like, I'm just pointing out like this is a guy that you might actually consider trading at this moment. Yeah, that Westbrook was insane, and we can't compare Giddey, but my argument is Giddey is still just 23 doing this. I think it's worth the hold and see the potential. Okay, sure. I appreciate you. I appreciate your input, Noel. I'm not saying like don't get me wrong. I don't want to make this clear. I'm not saying Noel's wrong. Okay, I don't think anyone's wrong in this chat at all. I'm just making the argument of like why I think I would trade him, and Noel's making the argument why he thinks we should not trade him. So, yeah, I'm just putting this all out on the table, and I appreciate your input, Noel. I personally disagree. I think that if you get the right offer, like if you get 2 first-round picks, I think it's worth it. But obviously, you disagree with that, and I think that's totally fine. I'm glad that we're having this conversation because like I said, this stream was basically about like. No, listen, guys, like, this was unacceptable tonight. We need to have some uncomfortable conversations in this chat because I think that a lot of us have just kind of been, like, coasting on the idea of, and including myself, okay? I'm not just saying you guys, I'm including myself on this, that, hey, the Bulls are going to be, heading into next season where they're going to just let the expirings go and they're going to go and try to get better in free agency. And try to sign some guys, and they're gonna bring Kobe White and Io back, and we're gonna, hope to see some development from Kobe, Giddey, Buzelis, and Asenge, and we're gonna be off and running. Like, I think that's what a lot of us were kind of thinking, and including myself, because I think that when I was looking at the, what I think the Bulls were on track for, like, especially if they were gonna go ahead and be like a playoff caliber team, like, it's not the worst decision in the world, but. I mean, right now, you're definitely not a playoff caliber team if you're giving up 120 points in 11 consecutive games. That's just not going to work, right? And because of that, I'm like, no, we got to have some conversations. Like, is this team actually worth, is this core actually worth, investing into? Is this core actually worth the time? Or do we need to actually start thinking about selling early with this core and just saying, you know what? Like, hey, we thought that the Kobe and Giddey backcourt was going to work out. It's not. Do we have to consider trading both of them, or do we consider only trading one? What are we looking at right now? Because right now, defensively, this team has just been flat out awful. And knowing that the 3 guys that are going to be part of the core or have been out there pretty much every single game, like, I know Kobe's been in and out of the lineup, but he's not going to give you anything defensively. But, Giddey and Buzelis have been out there in all the games recently. I don't feel good. I honestly I don't feel good at all about this core right now. And I feel like it's not really worth investing time into. So, again, my opinion will change if the Bulls can find a way to tell me defensively they're going to be better. And if you're wondering what my gauge of that is, of like, okay, like what am I looking at? Like, obviously, just eye test effort, like, that needs to just get better. Like, that's something that needs to improve. But what's been the problem for me, and yes, I am very much aware a rim protector couldn't help in this, but I still think that you can be terrible defensively even if you have a good rim protector, if you just have no overall perimeter defense. But this needs to get changed, okay? This just cannot continue. I'm sick and tired of seeing the Bulls up here where we give up the most points in the paint per game. This cannot happen. We are below the Wizards. We're below the Mavericks. We're the worst team in the league at giving up points in the paint. Okay? Like, it's utterly ridiculous that this is what we're looking at. All right. And just to be clear, I think Alex Sarr is like an actually pretty decent rim protector. The Wizards are just garbage, right? They're garbage on the perimeter. They're garbage in general, but they still give up a lot of points in the paint per game. And I think Alex Sarr is like actually is becoming an actual like legit like, you know, developing still, but he's becoming a rim protector in his own right. Okay, so I'm still looking at this. It's just like we cannot continue to do this. Like the Bulls are gonna have to find a way to fight their way up into at least the top 20 before I'm even gonna start considering like, okay, you know what, we're looking decent, because you know it's not like every team that's over here like, you know, that has like an insane rim protector at all times out there on the floor. Like I would argue the 76ers have not had Embiid, and yet like they still find a way to not be giving up as many points in the paint per game. Okay. Like Drummond is not like a rim protector for them. Like it's just not the case. Okay, like you know Jokic is not like, I think he's no longer a liability defensively, but he's not like a rim protector. And here we are. Like Nuggets found a way. Like they just play better defense. Okay, so this is the stuff, man. This is the stuff that I'm looking at that needs to get cleaned up. Like Boston doesn't really even have rim protection. And it's just like, yep, here we are. Like. They're just good defensively. Like they figure out ways on the perimeter to hold their opponents from not shooting so many shots in the paint. That's important. And this is what's been pissing me off, is just that like, yeah, the Bulls are like, you know, they'll find ways to maybe stop teams from like scoring so well in the interior, but we still give up the most amount of shot attempts in the restricted area. Like, yeah, we're not, you know, the Sacramento Kings and like teams are shooting 75% in the restricted area against us, but we still give up the most amount of shots in the restricted area. Like, this is why it's adding up. It's because we're allowing guys just to get immediately to the paint with no resistance. And yeah, there might be a guy out back there to block your shot, but if you just continue just to pound the restricted area all night long, the paint points are going to add up and you're going to overall get good looks at the rim. That's what's happening. So yes, Anthony Davis or whoever can come on in and increase the rim defense, but it's not going to stop this number, at least in my opinion, from being pretty high overall. It will go down a little bit, but the problem is that the perimeter defense continues to be terrible, and it's just letting opponents just get to the rim. Okay, and so if we're going to be depending on Anthony Davis or somebody back there to be blocking the shot every time or contesting well every time without fouling, pretty tough overall bet that it's going to work out in our favor. So once again, I'm just pointing out, and this is unfortunately, when it comes to, if you're going to have a conversation about this right here, this is a fact or fiction right now. This is a right or wrong. Okay, the Bulls defense has just been garbage. Okay, and unfortunately it has just been garbage in no matter what sort of month it has been, because if you're wondering, oh, was this better in October when we actually had better defensive numbers in October? No. Like we still gave up the most amount of shots in restricted area per game. Like this was still an issue. What happened though, if you're wondering, in October? Well, I'll show you what happened. It was a much different overall story, but not in the paint. Okay, it was on wide open threes, and hopefully this will load for me. But you know, teams are finally hitting their wide open threes against us, and we're still not being better in the paint. I want this loud. God damn it, NBA, come on. NBA.com, come on. All right, we're gonna reload. We're gonna try a different page. If you're wondering, by the way, this is not analytics that I'm showing you guys right now. This is just legit stats. Like, I know that some people have like talked about, oh, this is analytics. I'm like, this is not analytics. I don't know what you're talking about. So in general for the season, okay, the Bulls aren't like, it's not even that bad for us. Like we're kind of mid-pack in terms of opponents hitting their wide open 3-point shots. Okay. The problem is though, is that it has not been good for November. So to just show in October what happened, because I feel like too many Bulls fans still have not figured this part out of what did actually happen in October. Why won't this work? Come on. Oh, okay. There we go. But opponents shot under 30% on wide open threes in October. Okay, like, this is just like, you know, it was great to see, but like it just wasn't sustainable. I don't care. Like again, we're talking about wide open shots here. It's not in general threes. We're just talking about wide open threes. That has flipped on its head in November. Opponents are just draining threes that are wide open against us in November, as they should. If they're wide open shots, it shows that, hey, we're not playing good enough defense if they're wide freaking open. But as you see here, it has been an absolute complete turnaround, and opponents are shooting above 40% on wide open threes. So opponents are going to hit wide open threes. Like, it's the reality of how this works. Now, to give the Bulls some credit is that they're running guys off of the 3-point line, I guess, and they're not letting wide open threes, like, as compared to, like, you know, the top, you know, the Pelicans or whoever, right? Like, these guys give up, you know, nearly 25 or more wide open threes per game, right? But the problem is, though, is that if you're doing such a good job of running them off the 3-point line, you still need to protect the paint in a sense. And what's happening right now is that if the opponent is not, you know, shooting the 3-point shot, then they're just getting right to the rim. That's the problem. We can't have that. That needs to go away. And unfortunately, I'm looking at a lot of guys that I'm like, yo, you're a part of our core, man. Like, I need to see better effort, and we're just not seeing it. Well, we just sharing our thoughts on what's wrong. I appreciate. Yeah, I hope people understand that. Like, I'm not. I want to make this clear. This is a, you know, we keep respect here in this chat, and you know, if people have their opinions and, you know, come with their evidence and their arguments, then we respect it. There's definitely some, you know, opinions that are not going to, like, if it's just like completely ridiculous, then we'll you know, we'll have to shut it down. But yeah, I hope people feel comfortable expressing their opinions. Let's go once for happy. I for once happy can come on a channel and hear actual talks instead of someone having an agenda. Yeah. My opinion, the core is not worth it. I pray AKME doesn't re-sign any expiring guys like Vooch. Well, I want to make this clear about Vooch. I don't think Vooch is part of the core. Like, I understand that he's part of this. Like, he's an important piece of this team trying to win in this current season. But I personally do not consider Vooch part of this core. If he is part of this core, though, then I have a serious issue. Like, that is insane. I am with you, Noel, that I am very concerned that the Bulls are going to be looking to re-sign Vucevic or extending him. And I'm not going to be very happy when that does happen. And Kobe and I get traded. Fair. I would have moved Vooch years ago. I'm with you. I would have moved Vooch a long time ago, man. We had the worst rim protection in the league without Zach. It's not just that, though. It's that we allow way too many blow-bys and letting guys just get to the rim too easily. Like, it's like, we could have Zach, but I just don't think it's going to stop teams from getting into the paint so easily. Want to keep Zach on either. He's just been unreliable health-wise. I mean, I definitely would not be keeping him and looking to play and depending on him, right? Because if the team is so dependent on Zach Collins, there's an issue, which it seems like we are. And again, I don't even think he's going to come in and fix it all. Like, I think that we're still going to have issues. But if we are going to bring him back, it's going to have to be for a lot cheaper, and the Bulls are not going to be, you know, they shouldn't be dependent on him to be there. Like, if we re-sign him and expect him to be our starting center moving forward, that's an issue in my opinion. I swear rim protection gets worse when Vooch is on the floor for some reason. Like, it's partially his fault, but other players also are relying on him. I mean, but but I think it's not just his fault. Like, yeah, he's been terrible, don't get me wrong, but I just look at if the other players are relying on him to be there, like, I don't know what you're doing, because that to me is telling me that you're not trying hard enough. Like, yes, there's moments where you should be trying to rely on these guys to help you, but like, there's just moments tonight where I'm just like, what the fuck? Like, the perimeter wise, I just don't know what we're doing. Get ready for film, because I want to show some stuff that I was just losing my mind at tonight. It's what I mean. Other players giving up when they shouldn't. Like, yeah, like, you're giving up too early. Like, there's definitely moments where you're gonna have to, even when you're playing great defense, like, you're gonna have to give up and, like, you know, trust that someone's gonna be there to help you. But like, I'm seeing guys give up way too early. It's like not even close to when they should be giving up. And we're depending on Vucevic to try to cover up for like missed switches, and I'm just like, why? That just can't happen. Are we in the third quarter yet? Okay, we're at halftime. All right. I do want to go watch this game. Maybe I'll just get the fourth quarter in. Okay, so oh wow, the Magic won. Okay, the Pistons are on a 2-game losing streak. Oh my God, it's over for Detroit. I mean, if you have any hope for the Bulls right now, that's actually bad that the Magic won, because they now pull farther away in the record right now. So yeah, that's not good. Boston got the win against Detroit the other day. That's also not good if you're hoping for Bulls to climb in the standings right now. But yeah, that's not a good sign. Sorry, I need to go find I need to find a specific timestamp, because I wrote down like what happened. I just didn't write down the timestamp, and I'm annoyed with myself. Yeah, okay. So this is what I'm saying, okay? That I have a serious issue right now when it comes to what Kobe and Giddey are showing me at this moment in time, okay? And the unfortunate reality is just that, like, I have to call these guys out because I think they're gonna be part of the core moving forward. But this play, to me, at least in my opinion, like, this is unacceptable on both of these guys. I don't know what I'm looking at, okay? It's mostly unacceptable on Kobe, but I'm just lost, okay? Like, why is this switch fine? Okay, they do this switch perfectly fine, but then what happens here? Like, what is this? Okay, like, first and foremost, if you're Giddey, if you're actually gonna be switching this, you gotta be up higher. Like, that's just reality. But what happens here? I don't know what's happening. I'm just as confused as everyone else right now. But Kobe should probably be going Miles Bridges if they're switching this, right? And it leads to this. Like, yeah, Vooch should be probably coming over earlier to try to stop this from being an easy layup, but, like, the problem isn't Vooch's, being late on this, right? The problem is what is happening up here. Like, this is unacceptable from these guys. Like, these guys have to figure out a way to be better defensively. This is unacceptable. I cannot continue to see this from these two guys if they're going to be our backcourt of the future. Like, what are we doing? I get so pissed off watching this. I'm like, what happened? This is a simple switch. And yet, I'm lost at what the defense was. I'm lost at trying to figure out, like, what are we supposed to be doing here? Because it seemed like one guy is thinking, oh, we're going to switch this, and the other's like, oh, we're not switching this. And then we find out, oh, later, oh, this was supposed to be a switch, and then it's too late. Like, come on. This is unacceptable. Guys got to be better. Like, this is points in the paint. This is the points in the paint because we didn't switch properly. This is not because of, oh, they got past our, or the pick and roll with their main defenders trailing or anything like that. No, this is just a simple switch. This is not even that difficult. And yet we're not able to pull this off right now. And I'm lost. Frustrating part is that sometimes they're getting blown by because they're closing out. They get blown by when they do lazy closeouts, and it's just unacceptable. Yeah. Watch the game, but late into this, feel like Kobe is the absolute worst defender by a long margin. I know they did badly there. I don't think Kobe was the worst defender by a large margin. He might have been the worst defender tonight. I think Giddey's right up there. I'm being dead serious. I was not happy with what I saw from Giddey at all today. There's others too. Like I think that Herter wasn't really good tonight either. Like, obviously Vucevic is terrible, but Buzelis I think is arguably up there too. He picked up 2 early fouls that were pretty bad, and he's just not playing defense, and he's not staying in front of his guy. Yeah, Kobe might be the worst one, but I think almost everybody deserves just as much shit for how bad the defense was. But I'm not happy. Giddey needs to get his criticism tonight as well. It was not good. Alright, that's one play that I wrote down early. I was just like, yo, like this is ridiculous, guys. Like, come on. After having given up 143 points to the New Orleans Pelicans, you would think that they were going to come out and be better defensively. Didn't happen. Next play, I want to show you guys that I was just like, come on. And I don't even know, honestly, who you want to blame this on, because I feel like it's just on everybody, but, like, I'm assuming that this was supposed to be a switch, but for some reason P. Will doesn't switch this, and if it's not a switch, then I don't know what we're really doing here. But to show you this play, okay, like screen. All right, here comes the initial screen, right, from Brandon Miller. God. And then, you know, P. Will switches on to Sexton, and then here comes Diabate with the screen, and I'm like, okay, well, you have Smith here, and you have Diabate here, and it's Patrick Williams getting screened by Diabate. Just switch this if you want to. If you're not going to do that, right, then I need to see this guy come on in for the rotate, and I don't know. I just, like, it seems like here they're going to be switching it, but Pat's already too late. Like, I don't know why, but then if they weren't going to be switching it, then like Carter's already way too late. Like that, man, it's not just like these young guys either. It's like the vets are not doing the proper thing, and this is a dunk. Like, dear Lord, guys, like what? These are just too easy. We can't continue this. Next play. Yet again, it's lack of switching that's just pissing. Like, it's switching. It should be simple. And yeah, I don't know why we're having issues. Okay, the Kobe flagrant foul. I don't know what Kobe's doing. Like, Kobe just needs to be better. I'm sorry. Like, dead serious. Like he just needs to be better out there. I don't know what he's looking at. Like the whole leg thing from Kobe. Like, come on. Like, we don't need to be tripping guys. We don't need to be kicking guys in the nuts. Like, come on. Let's watch this play, because yet again, the Bulls don't switch things properly, and I'm losing my mind. Sorry, we'll rewind it to get out of the black screen there. I'm avoiding copyright by doing this. Sorry for the delay. All right, we're back. Okay, so pay attention to Herter and Buzelis here, okay? So you should know, if you're the Bulls in this sort of scenario, okay, that all the guys in here are all on the perimeter, right? Including Buzelis, right? The only guy that's on the interior is Jalen Smith. So if he was a part of this pick and roll, okay, with this little double screen, like, it would be a different story. But because we're all perimeter guys, we should all be switching this. Everyone should just be switching. And it's pretty simple what we should be doing here, because Io was guarding LaMelo initially. He switched on to Khan, right? On the Knipple. So now Herter has this guy, right? And so now Buzelis should be taking LaMelo after the screen is set, and Herter should be sticking on to Brandon Miller after he gets screened. Instead, though, okay, Herter decides to go and try to go with LaMelo here, and Buzelis also thinks that this is going to be, he's going to be taking LaMelo. That leaves then Brandon Miller wide open off the screen that he just set. And so two guys go to LaMelo for some reason, which doesn't make any sense. Okay, again, this is all perimeter guys on this offensive possession, and now Brandon Miller's wide open, step in the paint already, and it's already too late because he's already in the paint here. The rotation's already too late, and it's just paint points. Like, it's too simple. Like, what is this? Like, I don't get this. I'm pissed off at seeing this. And so when I say that, like, Kevin Herter wasn't very good defensively tonight, like, I look at this play, I'm like, what is Herter doing? Like, you're supposed to switch and stay on Brandon Miller on this play, and yet you're trying to trap LaMelo here. If this was actually a trap, then all the rest of these guys are also then at fault. Like, you know, Kobe's at fault, and Jalen Smith's at fault for not picking up the ball on time. But I don't think that was supposed to be a trap. Like, it's just supposed to be just simple switching, and yet the Bulls can't pull that off for some reason right now. They're just lost. And all the issues that I was looking at in preseason in, like, you know, games 3 and 4, I'm like, yo, this is gonna be terrible. And, you know, and they're now showing up now pretty consistently, and I'm really confused why they're showing up in November here versus early on in the season. It's really frustrating right now. I'm genuinely really frustrated seeing this. Just, it seems like night after night in November is just like, oh yeah, there's a missed switch. We didn't switch properly in this possession, or this guy didn't fight on the screen well enough. I'm like, this is simple. Last play before I get copyrighted. How many times have we talked about on this channel that if you're gonna be guarding the ball handler. Okay, which, as you can see in this possession, Giddey's guarding Sexton. Okay, so Giddey's in charge of Sexton at this moment in time. Okay, and here comes the screen, right? You gotta force him to take the screen. Okay, and don't know what the communication was here, but like, what are we doing? It frustrates the hell out of me seeing this from, like, you know, maybe don't need to blame Giddey fully on this possession. Like, maybe Trey Jones deserves some slack, or, you know, some criticism, but like, and Giddey deserves some slack here, but I don't know what's happening. Like, I'm pretty pissed off already just looking at that. And if, you know, if I'm right and that Giddey was supposed to force Sexton over the screen, then he did a really horrible job here. By the way, I'm just pissed off at the effort. But if, let's say that he wasn't, okay, then he should still be up where Sexton is once he knows the screen is there. He's not even connected to Colin Sexton when the screen is coming. And so he just allows Sexton to just go anywhere he wants to, because you're so afraid of the screen that you're just like, okay, well, I'll just let him go by, I guess. Like, I'm lost. Like, what is this? This is just effort. This is not like physical tool issues. This is just straight up effort. I'm looking for a specific sequence because I can't. Nina Knipple missed layup. I meant earlier. Oh, here it is. Okay, like this last play. This is the last one I'm gonna be talking about. So this will officially be the end of film session here. But like this last play it genuinely just pissed me off so much. Like I don't know what Giddey's doing in this. It just bothers me that I'm seeing this consistently from him. But like, this play, it didn't result immediately into like, it didn't result immediately into points, but it's still just you know, guys miss shots, but I just, God, yeah, the effort from Giddey in this play just it's just bad to me. Okay, this is already a play that they kind of drew up. They switched this one, fine, okay, and so then Giddey's running out here to Knipple, okay. And yes, Knipple is a very good 3-point shooter, but then watch what happens. Like, are we serious? Like, come on, bro. Like, give me effort. He's not in foul trouble here. Like, just give me effort. Like, try to stay on his hip here. Try to make sure that he can't go back right. Okay? Like, just do something here to try to be better in this sort of situation. This is a blow-by. And, like, Knipple's not, like, the most fastest guy. He's a very good player, man. But, come on. And so, it's just like, he's past Giddey. It's like, he's not even into paint yet. And Giddey's, like, let him go completely. And, like, yeah, Vooch is, like, here. And, like, Vooch does enough to contest this shot to not allow him to get the bucket. But, like, Knipple probably should have made this one. But even either way, the Bulls don't even get the rebound. Like, I'm so pissed off watching this. Like, This is the guy that a lot of people are telling me is supposed to be our point guard of the future and our superstar. And yet, he's getting driven by Con Knipple like he just got a cold. Like, come on. He's not 5'6". He's not my height out there, man. He is 6'7" at bare minimum. He's listed 6'8" in many places. Like, come on. Give me something. Give me some effort. It's super frustrating just seeing this consistently right now with this team. And I'm hoping that we're going to see something different tomorrow. But I think officially with what we've been, what I said here, if they lose this Charlotte game, I think I'm officially just out on the core. And we need to actually make some major changes. We got to go ahead and implement Doomsday Project, and we're here. We lost the Charlotte game. Terrible defense for most of the game. It was pretty rough. we gotta figure this out. There's no point, at least in my opinion, to be investing much time into this core. And so the earliest you can start making some moves here to try to accumulate some draft capital, in my opinion, would be the best case scenario. But we got to move on. I think honestly, like, I appreciate what Kobe's done in terms of his scoring. Like, I'm not here to criticize Kobe's scoring whatsoever. I think Kobe's scoring has been very effective. And I'm happy with how he scored since coming back from his calf issue. But I do think that if you're probably gonna be keeping one of these guys, it's gonna be Giddey. He just got the contract, right? And Kobe's is gonna be unexpiring. So if this is gonna be the case where you're gonna be breaking up those guys, I'm looking for a Kobe White trade now, because Kobe White's value drops by the day because he's on an expiring deal, right? And so, excuse me, but you know, a team might be willing to give up a little bit more if they're trading for Kobe in December versus trading for Kobe in February, right? So December 15th is a big day. I think that we're gonna have to be seeing the Bulls and, you know, start calling some teams. Will they do this? Probably not. But I think that is that would be the correct decision, in my opinion, is to start calling some teams about some of our guys, and seeing what we can get in return to try to see if we can accumulate some draft capital or maybe get some young prospects out of it. Okay. Now, if you're wondering about what I'm looking at in terms of like blow it up project, okay, which I understand that, you know, some people don't really want to talk about this sort of stuff, and sure, but I'm gonna talk about it one more time here on this channel, because I talked about it on the last stream, but that was if we lost tonight's game when we did, and it was not good defense again tonight. Let's talk, okay? So who are the guys that I think need to be priorities in terms of getting rid of? And all the guys that you're going to be seeing in blue here are, in my opinion, priorities that you need to look to get some trade value for, if possible, okay? The likelihood you're going to get anything good in return for Collins and Huerter is probably slim to none. You know, it's not to knock Huerter's play. I think Huerter's played pretty decently overall, especially on offense, but I think it's just because he's making $18 million a year, and he's to be probably a guy coming off the bench for most teams if they're going to trade for him. So I just don't know what you're going to really be getting for him. But again, if you can get some second round picks for Kevin Huerter, hey, so be it. I am totally fine with that. My biggest thing that I'd be looking for when it comes to Huerter and Collins is if you can go to a team and be like, hey, we see that you have a player that is taking up a lot of your future cap space, okay? We're willing to take that player right now, and, you know, we'll eat his contract, but you got to give us a pick in return, okay? And so we'll send you Kevin Huerter or Zach Collins, who are on expiring deals, so that you'll get more salary cap flexibility in the immediate future for your team, okay? That would be a way that I'd be looking to try to get any value out of these guys, because they are in expiring deals and, like, decently chunked contracts right now. But do anything you can to get value. If there's really truly nothing that's like really gonna get you good value in return, then like, okay, just let them expire. That's fine. But I'd be looking to try to trade these guys as soon as you can. Javon Carter, I think you're getting nothing, unfortunately. He's just a 30-year-old guard that is very small, that can shoot the three-point shot, but I think most likely we're heading towards a buyout. So that's totally fine in my opinion, though. I'm not freaking out about that if that is the case. So if we are heading towards a buyout for Javon Carter, I'm totally cool with it. Vucevic, again, I'm willing to sell him for seconds. He's not getting a first in my opinion because he's a interior or a defensive liability, and doesn't score in the post effectively. It's all dependent on his jump shot. If that is the case, then I think we need to just try to get as much as you can for him, for whoever's willing to take him, right? You get a heavily protected second round pick, you take it, okay? Take it and move on. It is officially time, because the other option is for him just to leave in free agency and you get literally nothing in return. After that, I'm like, I understand that Okoro's not played recently, and I know a lot of people are saying that's the reason why the Bulls defense has been so terrible, which it is not, okay? The Bulls were still giving up 120 points even when Okoro was still around, okay? So if that is the case, for at least for me, that like I just don't really care about like Okoro being on this roster. Like, I just don't like look to try to trade him. He's not a priority, okay? Because he does have another year on his contract, but he's a guy to look to move. Trey Jones, he's a guy to me that has a lot of trade value. So if you can try to turn that into some serious value in return, do it. Okay. Now again, he's not a priority to trade because he's he has multiple years left on his contract on a team friendly deal. But like, if you can really turn him into some seriously good value right now, and teams are like, hey, we get 2.5 years of Trey Jones, then for sure, I mean, look to move him. As much as I appreciate what he's done, he's our only playmaker defensively. Really, I really do appreciate what he's done here. But if we could trade him for some good stuff, do it. Now it gets to Ayo and Kobe here, okay? Because this is gonna be the interesting guys to look at. Ayo's trade value is gonna be really interesting for me to see in the trade market because I think that he's played really well. I know tonight wasn't very good from him, but he's played really well. If you want to know how well he's played, my most recent article is about Ayo and just how insanely efficient he's been. So if you want to go check that out, here's the link to the article. You can go and read this on OnTap Sportsnet. So there's that. I appreciate everyone reading my articles this season, but Ayo is interesting to me because he is also an expiring, but teams could try to negotiate an extension with him, and that'd be worth them trading for Ayo. My other thought, though, that I talked about recently on a podcast was that I think that you can maybe really consider trading or extending Ayo now, right? And the extension number is not like it's pretty. It's basically the first year is 16 million and 700K, which I know a lot of people are like, oh, is that too much? Like, that's just over mid-level exception for him in next offseason. So I think that would still be a team-friendly deal with the way he's played. Ideally get it lower, but the whole reason why I'm saying that extending him wouldn't be the worst-case scenario right now is because you could try to use that extension to be like, yo, if we extend him, then like we're trying to trade 3 years of Ayo Dosunmu versus 3 months of Ayo Dosunmu, right? And so a team trading for him is going to get him on a longer term deal in the trade, therefore hopefully trading more in return for him, if that's what you want to do. So Ayo's definitely interesting. As much as I would love to keep him around, if you are truly going to be pulling off this blow it up project, I think he's potentially a guy that has a serious amount of trade value. And I think unfortunately you're gonna have to look to really move him. I love him a lot. I love Ayo to the end, but we will see how this is gonna work out. Kobe's going to be a priority to be traded, unless something else tells us otherwise, because I think again his value drops by the day, so might need to start looking for him, a new destination for him now, especially December 15th when it's most of the league is available to be traded. I was such a spark plug off the bench, which is why I would keep him. My only thing though, Woodage, is that when I say blow it up, I'm legitimately saying that like winning does not really even matter at all. Like, yeah, I agree that Ayo off the bench has been a major spark plug and he's been insanely good, but like if we're talking like full out like rebuild and like we're not like it's full out blow it up project, then we're playing like a Senge like at least like 25 minutes a night. Blue Zealous is playing 30 plus minutes a night. All the young guys, draft picks, etc. Like, we're not really looking to win. So a spark plug off the bench is not really that valuable to that team and would be more valuable to some other winning team. Again, don't get me wrong, it would hurt. It's gonna hurt me if Ayo is traded. I'm gonna be hurt a lot because I've been very fond of Ayo since we've gotten him. He's been one of my favorite players to watch with the Bulls, and again, I just wrote an article on him. Like you see, I hope you understand how much I love this guy. Like Ayo's numbers have just been insanely good this season, and it's incredible to watch from him. But if we are implementing this blow it up project, then like I think he will most likely get moved. Which it is what it is. The only guys, in my opinion, if you're wondering, that are actually fully safe when it comes to the blow it up project is Blue Zealous and Asenge. After that, I think that anyone else is pretty much available to be traded. The only other guy that you might consider keeping is this guy, is Giddey. But like I said, like I think that there's genuinely a argument to be made that if you're blowing it up right now, that like trading Giddey with how well he's played and maybe trying to sell high on him if you think this is the best he's going to be playing, then it might be worth it. just to go ahead and just trade him right now and see what we can get in return. He's, on the longest part of his contract right now. The contract only gets smaller as you go on in terms of years. So maybe some team that really does value him might be willing to give up a lot for him right now, because you get basically 4 years of getting guaranteed right now. So that would not be the case next season. But again, it's not a high priority to trade. But I'm just saying that if there is potentially that option out there, like, I wouldn't be hesitant to trade him at all. The only guys I'm really hesitant to trade is just these two, Buzelis and Asenge. These two guys are like my only two that I'm like hesitant about moving, because they're still super young, but they have the physical tools, and when it comes to Asenge, also the IQ, in my opinion, to build a good defensive foundation for this team. Okay, I am very much concerned about this team's defense first before I even start looking at like the offensive stuff. Like, yes, we need obviously a go-to scorer, and that's gonna have to come in the draft ideally, but the defensive foundation needs to get figured out first. And right now, man, like, I have no faith. So when it comes to Buzelis and Asenge, though, I have faith that these two guys can offer impact defensively consistently. Obviously, it's been a roller coaster so far with Asenge right now, but not his fault. We shouldn't be giving up on him so early. One more time, I'm gonna go and look to see if the G League stat page is working. I don't know why this has been such an issue. Oh man, maybe it's my computer. No, it's not. I'm looking okay in terms of my overall CPU usage. What the junk? Come on. There we go. Finally. All right. So the Windy City Bulls did play tonight, if you're wondering. And so Asenge did play. If you are wondering, I've been trying to pull up these stats all stream, and it just, for some reason now it's only working. So I'm happy it's finally working now, though. But if we are wondering how Asenge did go ahead and perform tonight, which I'm sure some people are, so it was definitely not as good of a performance that we've been seeing from him in the recent games. Like, he came into like tonight averaging like 25 points in the G League, but 15 points tonight, 5 and 9 shooting, 4 or 5 from the free throw line. No threes made though, unfortunately. 9 rebounds and 6 assists is pretty solid to see. 6 turnovers though is not good to see. That's an issue that has been something that we've been hoping it was going to get cleaned up with him, but clearly that's still something that needs to get worked on. 3 block shots though, and 1 steal, which is huge to see, because this is what I'm talking about in terms of defensive foundation, that he can be this sort of guy to give those stocks when needed. There's some encouraging stuff defensively to see in this game. The rebounding is still high, which is still very encouraging. That's been a consistent number. It's been around like 8, 9, 10 for Asenge. So that's good to see. This is also good to see, but I'm more concerned about this. This is a bigger issue to me. So 3-point shot unfortunately didn't go down for him tonight. I'm hoping to see that start to get more consistent for him though. Gliding out to the free throw line, that's been pretty consistent for him in the G League. So definitely not the best game. I unfortunately don't know about the minutes. It looks like he was in foul trouble, so this definitely could have been impact about like less minutes. But hopefully we'll see him just either stay down in the G League if he's not going to get playing time up here, or the Bulls decide to bring him up and he'll get playing time up here, which is what that would be my decision. But right now, very clearly, they're not doing that. So if that is the case, then just leave him down in the G League and let him just get some run. If that is truly, if you just are not going to play him up here because Billy Donovan is just never going to play him, then keep him in the G League and we'll move. Okay? Like, it is totally fine to let him just stay in the G League all season long. I don't think it's an issue. And I think that him just riding around with the team and just staying on the bench and not getting any minutes is ridiculous, and should be the last thing that he should be doing right now. So just keep him in the G League or play him in NBA games. It's the only 2 options in my opinion. You cannot do the third option, which is just keep him on the end of the bench and not play him. So looking to see how that's gonna hopefully be, hopefully it's not resolved, but we'll see if it gets better. Okay, listen up, y'all. The Bulls play again tomorrow, right? Another terrible loss. We gave 120 points again, okay? If you're wondering what these games are in terms of what the games we have 120 points in, the last time we did not give up 120 points was in that Philadelphia comeback win, which is where Philly had that insane choke job by them. And, you know, credit to the Bulls for coming back, but that game feels like eons ago now when we look at it. But even before that, gave 128 points to the Knicks in the previous game and 125 in that game as well. So, opponents have been consistently hitting the 120 mark, even in games before our really rough overall streak here. But the Indiana Pacers are going to be playing tomorrow in Gainbridge Fieldhouse. I still call it Bankers Life for some reason. Look, Pacers have sucked. They've had a lot of issues. Especially with Halliburton being out, and it's been rough overall for this squad. Okay, they just go and beat the 2-16 Washington Wizards tonight, so congratulations to them. Not that impressive, obviously, but as you see here, we barely beat the Wizards by 1 point, and meanwhile the Pacers went and absolutely destroyed them. So they will have a little bit of a rest advantage because they get to stay at home here, but they played it tonight, so. Yeah, I just don't want to hear any sort of excuses about the Bulls being tired, rest advantage, or anything like that. I don't want to hear it, okay? I just don't. The Bulls need to come in and go and put the fight to this team. Here's the issue. There are 3-16. I don't really think they should be 3-16. Big reason why, though, is because TJ McConnell's been out. I guess Nembhard got injured again. Okay, I did not know that, but I saw that he was back, and I guess he's injured again, so that's an issue. So, I mean, honestly, I guess maybe they should be 3-16 now because that Nembhard's injured again. But, you know, they're missing Aaron Nesmith, who's a big part. They're missing Obi Toppin, okay? But they still have very quality players. This guy, Benedict Mathurin, is the guy that I'm very scared about because he has consistently attacked the rim all season long. He's been a little bit wild, but, like, he's consistently attacked the rim all season long when he's been healthy. He's been very, like, he's just been relentless with it. Obviously, Siakam's going to be Siakam. You know, he's been pretty solid with that. But this is the guy I'm scared about because I don't, like, the Bulls just can't seem to stay in front of guys right now. So, I wouldn't be shocked if Mathurin just goes off. So, either way, obviously, this team, you know, they don't have their MVP of the team, but they're a quality squad. So, they were just in the NBA Finals. So, I expect to see good overall, pace in this game. The Pacers are also pretty high in pace, so expect to see that, you know, be decent. But to me, it's gonna be a major test, man, for the defense. Like, this is the worst shooting team in the league in terms of field goal percentage. So if you let the worst shooting team in the league in terms of field goal percentage get to 55% in this game, then yet again your defense is garbage. It just is unacceptable levels of garbage right now. It just cannot continue. So, this is going to be, like, again, they're missing guys. They're out of sync a lot without Halliburton, but Siakam's an all-NBA caliber player. And Mathurin's turned into a pretty solid guy. So, I don't think this is going to be easy whatsoever. Very clearly, the Bulls are never going to make the lives easier on themselves because they don't play any defense, and they're not winning games against teams who are nowhere close to double-digit wins. So, I am not feeling confident about this game whatsoever. I feel very, very awful about this game. I think that the Bulls are going to go and lose this one as well because their lack of defense. But maybe we'll see something different in this game. I don't expect Kobe White to play, so because he's still dealing with his injury or his calf injury recovery management. So Bulls going to be without Kobe most likely for this game. But I'm hoping to see Okoro and Dalen Terry back. We will see, though. But if they're not, still got to go in and win, because guess what? There's no way in hell you get to use the injury excuse for this game, okay? Pacers are missing Halliburton and Nesmith and Toppin no matter what. So, like, that alone is plenty of guys out, and if your so-called guys are going to be this solid, then I would hope you go and beat this team. But I don't know, man. It doesn't look like it's going to happen. So, 6:30 p.m. Central Time is the game. Chicago Sports Network, 9 p.m. post-game stream on this channel. So, with that being said, I want to say thank you guys so much for all tuning into this post-game stream. I'm sorry for my just my overall agitation, but I'm not happy, man. I'm really not happy. I just, like, this start has been ridiculous to start the season, and I think that we need to start really having these conversations consistently on this channel about, like, okay, what would we do right now if this defense continues to be this terribly, which it seems like it is. It's really bad. So appreciate y'all still tuning in and having great conversations with me. That's what this channel is all about. I sincerely do appreciate you guys checking in, though, on the stream. Hope you guys are back tomorrow. If you've not already hit the like button on the stream, please do. It helps me out a lot. I sincerely appreciate all the support and the likes on the stream. I sincerely appreciate it. If you're new to the channel like Bulls content, please subscribe. We're making Bulls content all season long. And if you have not checked out my most recent article on Iodosumu, it is now posted in chat here. And I'm going to be going ahead and posting my most recent podcast episode for OnTap Sportsnet. I did a podcast episode with OnTap Sportsnet, a local Bulls fan who's the host of it for Bulls on Tap. And it is currently posted on OnTap Sportsnet. It's under the live page because we basically posted it as if it was like a live stream, but we already recorded it. So if you're interested in seeing that at all, link is posted in the chat, and I'll be posting it in the comment section below as well. So go check those things out if you have not seen that already. Had a lot to talk about on this channel, or on the podcast, and I think it's kind of relevant to what we saw today. So go check that out if you have not seen that already. But I appreciate everyone supporting my stuff with OnTap Sportsnet. It truly does mean a lot. I'll see y'all tomorrow. I don't feel good about it, but I'll see y'all tomorrow. All right. Hope it's better. Have a good night, y'all. Peace.